Sunday, February the 8th, 5:30 p.m., on NBC. You have the NFC champion Seattle Seahawks are going to San Francisco, where they will play the AFC champion New England Patriots, both 14-3 to end the regular season. You have Seattle that is favored by 4.5 points. You've got an over-under of 45.5 here, and two teams that have interesting paths here, I think, just as far as the way that they got to the Super Bowl. One did it by defense, and the other one did it really by offense. Titans headed for a crash course here, basically. The biggest storyline here is that the Seahawks are going to be on the market after this. I did a little bit of looking here. Basically, what happened is that when Mr. Allen had passed away in 2018, I think it was given to his sister. She had within the will, essentially, she had to sell the team, but they had to wait until there was a time period, essentially, that if they sold before, then they had to give, I think it was the city of Seattle or something, 10% of whatever the selling price was. So they're estimating this sale to be around $7.5 billion. It had been $750 million they'd had to give them back. So they waited for that clause to phase out to where they get their full 100%. But it's going to be the first time that a team has gone for sale after potentially winning a Super Bowl, which if they win that Super Bowl, which I'm sure they really hope they do, so one, they could be Super Bowl champs, and then two, they could really hit that extra, put an extra
billion on there.
Exactly. Just don't hold back. But yeah. So I think that's definitely one of the bigger news is here. It's just far as that, and then other than it being the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. So get into it. Keys of the game. Easy for me. I just want to talk. We'll talk about keys of the game first. For Seattle, to me, keys of the game. They got to score early, and then they got to make May prove that he's worthy to be a Super Bowl champion. And what I mean by that is make Drake May beat you. He has not performed to his best this postseason. He had he was in the running for MVP in the regular season, and that has definitely slacked off as we've gotten into the playoffs. Yes, I know that he played in the snow, and it was really hard for anybody to get around, but you really have to make Drake May prove that he is going to be the guy to beat you. So score early, get on the board, put that pressure on the Patriots to where, hey, they can't fall back on running the football, turning around, doing play action. No, make Drake May stay back there in the shotgun in the pocket, throw the ball down the field. For New England, easy. Control the clock, make Darnold uncomfortable. Easier said than done. Darnold struggled early in the season with making the right decisions on blitzes. He definitely progressed in the right direction all the way up to last week 2 weeks ago against the Rams, and he seems more comfortable being more precise, getting the ball out quicker. Versus the blitz against the Rams, he went 5 for 11, 102 yards and 3 touchdown passes. So, it's easy to sit here and say, hey, make them uncomfortable, but that's what you're going to have to do, because if you really give those guys on the Seattle side time to get work down the field, they've got some speedsters with Jackson Smith and Jigba, Rashid. They've got capable running backs. They're really fast and big play. If you give him time to let those long developing plays go, and they can get yardage in chunks, it's going to be really hard for you to turn around to, if May is having a bad game, to turn around and say, hey, you got to go tit for tat on this. Yeah, those are my two things. So Seattle, score early, make May beat you. New England, control the clock, make Darnold uncomfortable to where you can make this more of a grind out game if Drake May does potentially struggle.
Yeah, I think your keys to the game are the same exact thing that I had. It's when you get to this point in the season, it's the last game of the season. You're not going to change your identity. These teams are very apparent about who they are and what they like to do and what they need to do in order to win games. And I think the biggest factor on that is is how well the Patriots offensive line can protect Drake May, because that Seattle defensive line is very good. DeMarcus Lawrence is an animal. They have proven that they can get to the quarterback, and they have the number one scoring defense in the NFL. So that you get that for a reason. And really, if Drake May can protect and take care of the football, you mentioned it. I feel like he's gonna have to go out of his way to win the game. He's not. I don't think it's just gonna. Even if they're able to run the ball, I don't think you can rely just on that. You're casual. Let's run the ball and then do some play action. I think there's going to be points in the game where he's going to have to take advantage of situations and go win the football game. So, we are going to have to see something from Drake May that we haven't seen in a few weeks. There was points in the season where we saw it. There was the game against the Bills where he went and won them the game. And he's had a couple moments where he will go out and win games, but not consistently. And this is everything on the line, so you're going to have to see it from him. And then defensively, it's kind of the same thing. This Patriots defense has been able to throw different stuff at a lot of different quarterbacks in this postseason, and they've been successful. I mean, they weren't the best of quarterbacks. They gave C.J. Stroud absolute hell. They gave Justin Herbert absolute hell. And then Jarrett Stidham. So they haven't seen what Sam Darnold's been putting out on the field. That's not what they've come across as of late. I think the best quarterback would be Justin Herbert as far as being able to identify what they're trying to do. And they came out of that game saying they didn't know what the hell they were throwing at him. So if they're able to continue that, I think it could be a long afternoon because that Patriots do a great job of stopping the run. But Kenneth Walker is an animal. Sam Darnold, if he's going to continue to play the way he's been playing, it's going to be a tough task for the Patriots to do. It's not going to be just a simple walk in the park. So there is a very distinct path. I think when you get down to coaching, both of these coaches are very good. They both understand what needs to be accomplished. I'm not going to give a tip of the hat towards either of these teams on special teams. They're both very well coached. Their special teams are both very involved with the game plan. So, I mean, when you look at it and you look at everything that's there, none of what I'm going to base my pick on is going to be any of that. It's going to be just an absolute gut feeling on what my heart tells me. And my heart tells me that Sam Darnold's been playing too good for too long, and Drake May's been playing too average for too long. And I think they're both due for something different. I think Sam Darnold's going to shit the bed, and I'm going to stand on that. I think we're going to get one of those games where you're wondering why Sam Darnold is even talked about as a quality quarterback. And then for Drake May, I think he's going to finally decide that he is an MVP and he's going to win the game for the Patriots. So I'm going to go with the Patriots in this one. Despite what everybody says, the Vegas odds are also swaying me in that direction because I don't think in this economy Vegas is prepared to pay everybody that picks the Seahawks. So I could see, some behind the scenes deals being made and the Patriots come out with a win in this game.
That is a very conspiracy theorist pick right there. I like it, though. I like it. Does Vegas control the league? It is very potential there. One thing that I was thinking about while I was just thinking about this game in general and having Drake May do it, just some things here with the Seahawks defense. So during the regular season, they allowed a league low 3.7 yards per carry. They really have a heavy dime package that they like to do, really a dime nickel package here, basically. Two deep safety look to where that they can prevent those big plays. And, what that tells me here too, they're on a 26-game streak without allowing a 100-yard rusher, right? So they and they've played against the 49ers and the Rams here recently. So they're playing two deep safeties in that dime nickel package. They're not really loading the box up so much, and they're being able to get that done 4 or 5 guys, right? So They do have a lot of guys up there that are able to clog those holes, make it uncomfortable. Is May going to be able to sit back in that pocket and make it happen? Now he's thrown for 4,300 yards this year. He had 31 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions only. He's been able to do it with his legs. I know in the playoffs here now he hasn't had the best record in the playoffs, obviously, but he's thrown for 533 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He lost 3 fumbles, but he's also run for 144 yards on the ground. Seattle has some pretty athletic defensive ends too that can be able to run you down, get out there. Man, the Seahawks defense, they just I don't know. I really hate to pick Seattle. I really do. But the more I just looked at these stats as we, kept going and you dive deeper into each team. The Patriots defense is legit. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not down, just sitting here, bagging on the Patriots. They have a legit defense. And if they can get in there and they can disguise blitzes and they can make it difficult for Sam Darnold to read like he was doing earlier, like teams were doing earlier in the year, and they can get after him and they can bring those corner blitzes or blitz up the middle to where he is having to get it out quickly. And they really have sure tackling corners for the Patriots, and they can keep them, in those 3rd and long situations, right? You want to do that to any teams. I'm not saying anything, that's crazy here or anything groundbreaking, but they're going to have to really hunker down on that defensive side of the ball to give Drake May at least the time to get comfortable in the game if they really want to have an opportunity, right? I mean, I think that it is going to take that time for him to get comfortable, get a quarter under his belt. But if, Seattle can come out and they can strike hot and, say get a, 14-0 lead, I mean, that's somewhere that I don't see the Patriots are going to have the time to come back. You're gonna have big things there. X factors on the Patriots side, Hunter Henry and Matt Collins, they're gonna bracket somewhat Stephon Diggs. He's their leading receiver. So you're really gonna have to rely on those 2 other guys to get open. They've done pretty well with getting their running backs the ball, receiving out of the backfield. So getting Travion Henderson involved there, Ramon Stevenson, getting some quick dink and dunk passes maybe to get him comfortable to go. Those are going to be really big in those X factors. On the other side of the ball, I think Rashad Shaheed is a big X factor for Seattle because just like they're going to want to, contain Diggs, they're really going to want to contain Smith-Njigba because he can blow up at any point and he's going to get his, right? He's right. Always going to perform. He's going to come out. He's going to have his 7 catches, 100 yards, whatever. So, Shaheed has always shown that he can have those big play opportunities. And it's not only when he's on the offensive side of the ball, it's punt returning, it's kick returning. Can he have one of those moments in the Super Bowl to where, it just swings momentum, whether, it's coming out of the half or it's just a punt, one of those things. He's a big X factor in this for me. So I'm going to take Seattle 31-17 in this one. I just think that they do have too much firepower here. It's going to be probably closer to a late score, I think, that really just puts it away from them. It's going to be a close game throughout it. I do respect the Patriots defense a lot. I just don't think that New England – Drake May has had a good year. You see who he's played at the times he's played. You can get all that. I mean, they're all professionals. Nobody wants to get embarrassed. It doesn't matter if you have a head coach or not. At different points, those guys that are behind them are professionals and have a lot of knowledge as well, too. So I kind of kick some of that out of the window. But Drake May hasn't proved it enough to me to feel comfortable, taking him in a position like this. So if I was going to put some money down, yeah, I'd give you 31-17 Seattle, and I'd probably take Smith-Njigba as my Super Bowl MVP. I mean, I see him 9 or 8 to 10 catches, 100 plus yards and 2 touchdowns is kind of what in my head what I think happens there. So
that's not a bad guess.
Yeah, And if you look at FanDuel, your Super Bowl MVP here, your odds, you've got Sam Darnold leads the way at plus 115, followed by Drake May at plus 250, then Smith and Jigba at plus 550, and you've got Kenneth Walker the third going at fourth at 850. Yep.
Yeah, I think you were talking about the different things, and when you really start to take their whole seasons into perspective, those games where Sam Darnold played poorly, you look at those teams, the ones that stand out to me was the Texans, and they Seattle won that game.
Yep.
But they also had 6 turnovers, and it was a Texans defense that is very physical and very creative. You look at the game against the Vikings, another team where he struggled, and Brian Flores is another one that gets very creative in his blitz packages, makes it picking up pre-snap stuff very, very difficult. And you look at what the Patriots have done lately to these experienced quarterbacks. Really, it's just Justin Herbert. But when you talk about the cream of the crop, Justin Herbert, I think by most people's accord is the cream of the crop as far as being able to identify stuff pre-snap. And he was having hell. So to me, if they're able to get Sam Darnold confused, mixed up, they're going to have to be very creative. They're going to have to disguise very well. I mean, Sam Darnold's seen it all. He's been in the league for a long time, and he's proven that he can cook you. So it's a very, very live cat and mouse game that's going on. And I got a feeling that the Patriots are going to be the cat in this one. Sam's going to be the mouse. And you start talking about Jackson Smith, and really, you can't stop him. You can slow him down. But if you're going to have a hope of stopping him, the best way to stop him is Sam Darnold. So I think just getting his timing off, throwing him off, getting him uncomfortable is going to be an absolute key. And I trust the Patriots defense to do that. Seattle still brings a lot to the table. You talked about Rashid Shaheed, and he can absolutely stretch the field and make it difficult to do what you like to do on the back half because he can take the lid off at any given point in time. So absolute keys to the game for sure. I agree with your takes. I think Hunter Henry is going to be very important in this one. I get nervous a little bit because sometimes the Patriots offense seems a little predictable. If the run game's not there and the rush is getting to them, then they try doing a lot of dink and dunk, and they will take everything underneath. They'll try to get you with a screen game, and I don't know. If Seattle gets off to a hot start, that's also concerning because the Patriots aren't a team that can necessarily play from behind. So I am concerned. In my mind, Seattle should win the game. I just don't think they're going to. But they should win the game, absolutely.
I'd bring up those two instances and a couple of those instances that you mentioned with the Texans and the Vikings. Both of those teams do have phenomenal defenses, but the one thing that they both have in common is their offense leaves a lot to be desired, right?
Right.
The Vikings didn't have a quarterback all year, and besides a few decent weeks from Davis Mills, the Texans really didn't either. So Seattle's proven that, even if Sam Darnold does go out and throw 6 interceptions, their defense is good enough to keep him in the game to where you make 6 mistakes, just go out there and make a play on the 7th one kind of deal, right? That's just what, it keeps me in that. So, but still good. Yeah.
My Super Bowl MVP is going to be Drake May. I think if the Patriots are going to win this game, it's going to be on him.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
And I got this one going 28-17 in the Patriots' favor.
Wow. Okay. So you got Patriots 28-17. I put the Seattle 31-17. We our losing teams for each have 17, and then we're pretty close on the winning score. Cool. Well, that's fun. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say out there of who you think's going to win. We'll put a poll out